What's he doing?
And no one ever saw
Okay.
Good, it was fun. Yeah.
Okay.
EDAC is doing their update truck, West Side is gonna do that. Do you wanna do that before you do your
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Either way, however you want. Okay.
If you wanna speak up first.
You're okay with the one of each? With the
Yeah, I
county?
want one of each.
Okay, we'll make the recommendation.
Anything else you want to change?
No,
Cholesterol's gonna be. I'll be 39. I start thinking about all the fun stuff, you know?
I'm good, Jack. Everybody's good.
One of you go certain bars.
Hanging in there, I guess.
We're live, Mayor.
Thank you.
Where? Really? Ooh. I don't come to no meetings early.
Yeah, he's gonna do our
Oh, good. Hey, Jim.
Okay, it did go through the time, so you know, and there's no amendments. It's the original that Thompson sent to me. So there's no amendments in it. No. Nope. It's the original. Yes. So,
What's that?
you usually have coffee, absolutely. If I start coffee,
Yeah.
So anybody
I'm gonna bring them
at least 10 feet.
the spring's
So you got to on that, and then you got to on the they're all over the road, which you took care of. So I see them every once in a while, brush trying to brush it. Keeps you around every single day. Because it puts so much dirt. Yep. And the worst part about it is you guys can that they certainly that are right on the shore, rocks are that area you shouldn't squeeze that stuff. They're gonna work out too.
and we're live.
Yeah, it's true. Round up. You're rounding up all the neighbors. Right. We're gonna give you a fancy. Here you go. She waits around every.
Good neighbors.
Yeah, really.
No, we did that earlier, that was our meeting.
I think after I called the house, he doesn't say he's done with that. He's no friend of mine.
Somehow I figured it out on my computer,
Hey, good.
and it worked.
Good.
I can't
Challenge when it comes to all that.
Well, there's a lot of new stuff.
It changes every day. I have a watch. My niece works for Michael Kors, and I wanted a smartwatch. A nice one, so it's a nice one. So it's beautiful. I like the pretty one. I think it connects to your app on your phone. I had it connected, now it's not. Now it's got the wrong time. I don't know how to set it down. I'm like, I gotta take it to one of my nieces or nephews and say, here, can you please fix this for me?
Bluetooth it, link it.
You're right, yeah, can I do it, whatever it is. And usually they go, here, Angela.
I have a hard enough time with my car. Linking that up.
Well, he got the other actor's name. Who was that?
It's going by that clock, but,
Oh, okay.
what's your clock? Okay, so do I. This meeting is called to order. Would everyone please rise for the flag salute? May I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Bruno? Here. Councilmember Owen?
Here.
Councilmember DePamphlis?
Here.
Councilmember McCary?
Here.
Councilmember McQuiggin?
Here.
Councilmember Dill?
Here.
Council President Johnston?
Here. Also present is Mayor Glasser, Administrator Frost, City Clerk Samuelson, City Solicitor Smith, and City Engineer Snyder. Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided. The agenda for this meeting is posted in City Hall and on the city's website, summerspointgov.org. Okay, welcome, everyone. I need a motion to waive the 48-hour rule for resolution number 107. Awarding the bid for Cedar Avenue sanitary sewer
I'll
extension.
make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Anyone have any communications to offer? Hearing none. Mr. Mayor?
Good evening. Thank you, Council President. I just want to go over a few things. First of all, I want to, on behalf of the entire city, thank Greg Gregory and, excuse me?
Can't hear the mayor.
I think it's worse
Might be
if you
too
get
close.
close.
Okay, we'll try this.
Right.
Test 1, 2. How's that?
No.
Okay.
Back away.
Roll back. Keep going. Going from here? All right, how are you? Can you hear me now? How's that? Because it's as loud as well, I can speak louder, but to scream. Go out the escape door. Okay, first of all, I want to thank Greg Gregory and the girls, Brianna and Ashley from the city administrator's office, who really did a great job with Bayfest. And you got to remember one thing about Summers Point. The sun always shines at Summers Point. God loves us. So remember that, because it turned out to be a great day. At 7 o'clock in the morning, it was pouring rain. By the afternoon, it was sunshine, and it turned out to be a great event for us, and it's a kickoff for the year. Those of you who haven't heard, our beach concerts won #1 in the contest by USA Today throughout the country. What an outstanding thing. You know, the notoriety we got, but it's one of those great things that we have. Looking forward to it. I can thank Kwame Murata and his whole staff for putting it together. Just been something we're very thankful for, and I'm very thankful that we have it. You know, being one of the kids that grew up in Summers Point, I used to hang out on that beach every Friday and Saturday night, and just, it's such a great an addition, things that bring people to our great town. Memorial Day, we will have our parade and service at 11 o'clock a.m. That's on Monday, the 29th. Lieutenant Colonel Justin Krowicki, who is the 177th Logistics Squadron's commander, he's a Summers Point resident. He is part of the 177th Fighter Wing out here at Atlantic City International Airport. He will be there. He will be our guest speaker. Also, on Friday, May 26th, at 2 o'clock p.m. at the Estelle Manor Park, at the cemetery there, there will be a county memorial service. And I understand Bob Frollo, who's the county service officer and was former commander of our American Legion post, will be the guest speaker there. Last Friday night, the AMVETS, who have their state offices here, the American Veterans, had their convention here in town, and we'll all be glad to hear that Fred Vineyard is still the commander, and he got reelected as their state commander for the AMVETS, and we're so honored and pleased to have AMVETS here in town and stationed here. Last but not least, I will be honored to present awards at the Atlantic County Institute of Technology on this Monday night for their junior ROTC award ceremony. They've got a very sharp outfit with the cadets. It's part of the curriculum with certain students out there at ACIT. Not only that, they will be participating in our Memorial Day parade. So they've come down there quite often, not only the Memorial Day, but the Veterans Day as well. And that's all I have this evening. I hope everybody could hear me, but, you know, I do have a voice sometimes I can project. So,
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Frost,
Nothing to report this evening.
Mr. Smith,
I have nothing either, thank you.
Mr. Snyder.
I just had a few updates. The light replacement on Bay Avenue continues. Right now, we're just waiting for the lights to be delivered. It should be in 2 or 3 weeks. Once that occurs, the actual installation should only take about a week. As you may have noticed, bus shelters were installed on Route 9. They're complete. I tried to get an update on the other bus shelters, but I haven't heard back yet. And then, as you're probably aware, the Sunset Avenue redevelopment project, the planning board recommended a bus stop at that corner of Pleasant and Shore Road. Originally, they were going to give an easement to the city, but now it looks like we have to put the bus stop in the right-of-way of Atlantic County. So the county is requesting a letter to the county executive from the city. Just requesting a bus shelter at that location, if city council is okay with that.
Anybody have any objection to that?
Just a question, when you say within the right-of-way, the bus stop the bus is going to stop obviously on the street. There's not a...
The shelter would be on the sidewalk.
Right, the bus shelter goes in the sidewalk. There's no indentation in the curbing for the bus to pull over. Okay.
Okay,
That's it.
we'll do that. Okay, thank you. Committee reports.
Madam President, I attended the garden club meeting, and this week was the plant swap, and that was great. And the Pride and Point Garden Contest is still open. You can get registration slips at the library or City Hall. June 20th is the deadline, and there are a lot of categories, and local businesses and organizations can also be a part of it.
Push your mic up a little.
Oh, sorry.
It's worse when you were close.
Did we get it?
I'm
now?
looking. Looks like it's worse when we're close to it.
Okay, did everyone, okay. And then the winners will be at the August City Council meeting.
Thank you. Okay.
Madam President,
Yes.
I have a number of things I'd like to report. First, with regards to recreation, the Recreation Commission decided or voted to order new picnic benches, 20 of them for the park. And Mr. Frost has undertaken that effort, and what is happening is 5 are being ordered and scheduled for delivery towards the end of June.
Is
We're ordering
that benches or tables?
picnic tables.
Tables.
I'm sorry,
right,
I
okay,
I
that's
thought I
all
said
right.
that. The best price for those are not on the state contract, so we're ordering them 5 at a time so that it's below the bidding threshold, so we can expedite the process. So basically, we'd be ordering 5 a month until we get up to a satisfied amount down there and make sure that the park is well equipped. And part of that order, they're also going to order 4 grills to replace ones that have rotted out over the years. Staying on recreation, and everyone has recognized that the lights on the pier, the fishing pier under Route 52, have been out for quite a while, and there's been damage there. And going back and forth, and Atlantic Electric has agreed to pay for that, and we went out and got a price for it, and they have actually cut the check to us, so that work will be starting shortly. But the problem there is the light heads that need to be replaced are 8 to 10 weeks. But it is ongoing, and so a little bit of progress there. And I know on the agenda tonight, there is a boat ramp resolution, and you will note that you all should have gotten a copy that shows those rates on there. And then there's further, the bike path improvements. that we received from, what's the name of that grant, correct me? Or-
Congestion mitigation.
Right. Those bike path improvements are underway, and a lot of concrete pads have been poured, so it's about 10% done, but it'll be ongoing for a while. Moving into personnel, the Personnel Committee had discussion with Mr. Frost, and Mr. Frost has asked, and we consented to having Allison in the clerk office move to full-time. Typically, we would wait a little bit of time, but in deference to the workload there, we're going to move that up and get her up to speed, up to full-time, so that we can, try to meet the workload. I know we're going into executive session to discuss Teamsters negotiations, and I'll just say that at this point, there's some positive movement there, and, it's ongoing, and again, we'll discuss that in executive session. And the other thing relative to personnel within the construction office, Mark McCrane, who we receive his services through a shared service with Galloway, we're increasing his time from 2 days to 3 days here in the city, since the number of inspections have increased greatly here. We're up to over 40 inspections a month. The cost of that is only $5,000 for the year, and obviously the revenue generated from those inspections is more than enough to cover that. The Arts Commission has had their annual contest and have selected the winners for the young youth poet, and I'm going to ask that we put it on the agenda for the next meeting to have those poets come in here. I'll write a resolution for them, and they'll give us a sample of their work. And the other thing, the environmental / green team has recommended or has put forth three different ideas, and I know we mentioned two before, three different adjustments to our code, one being the bike rack requirements when a construction project or a project is undertaken. The other is with regards to trees being required. If the trees can't make it onto the project, that those trees are then put onto public areas. And then the third one that we need to discuss is some adjustments to landscaping requirements for development. Mr. Helbig and myself, as well as Mr. Smith, are efforting to meet to discuss them and to move them forward, which we'll do in the next few days as our schedules allow that to happen. And I just want to note that, again, the Green Team undertook the cleaning of the property on 10th and Dobbs, if you hadn't had a chance to go down and see. It's a great improvement, and they're getting new plantings and so forth, native-type plantings in there to sustain that property. And I think the Osprey sign that I've sent around is now ordered and on its way. That may take a number of weeks to get. But I believe we've decided on a spot for that. That's been finalized. And the other thing is that we're going to ask to submit a grant application for $5,000 in the New Jersey Sustainable Project, or Sustainable Program. And the idea will be to use that $5,000 to develop a sort of a comprehensive plan for the bike path. And that's all I have to report, Madam President. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam President,
Yes.
I have an item from the Rec Board. Several weeks ago, Joe Girello and I were sitting down talking about how great this city is and all the great things we do, and beach concerts being #1 in the country, and we came up with an idea to have a group wedding ceremony at one of our concerts. And right now, that is scheduled for the 30th of June, and that will take place in between the bands playing. And invitations will go out to a variety of different groups to try to publicize this. And we're hoping to get a large group and help celebrate the weddings, and if you want to restate your vows, feel free to stop by. It'll be a fun time. But it's something really great, bring some more notoriety to the city, and hopefully we can have the largest group ever stop by and get married again. So just wanted to let you know about that. The rec committee approved it in terms of being able to do this, so we've got clear sailing.
Is that for, excuse me, new marriages as well? They can get a marriage license?
They can get a marriage license for free. Just go to Atlantic County, ask Joe Girello. They'll provide you with a license for free. You'll get married for free. It's the last time being married, you'll get something for free, so you might as well take advantage of it.
So just a matter, they're going to waive the fee?
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Cannabis.
Yes, Mr. DePamphlis.
After a lot of conversation as to how many and where at, I think the Cannabis Committee would like to recommend that we move forward still and start off with one of each, one retail and one cannabis. And we move forward to continue to look into this and see if it'll be good for the city.
One cannabis retail and one cannabis what?
Distribution, I'm sorry.
One retail, one distribution?
Yeah, along Route 9 corridor or MacArthur Boulevard.
Were we going to discuss this as old business tonight?
Well, either place. I mean, it was a committee. Why, you want to wait till old business? Can we discuss it now?
We had a whole list of things I thought we needed to go over, that I needed decisions on before we went any further.
Okay, but do you want to discuss it now?
Or we could table it till next meeting?
No.
That's fine, whatever you want to do.
No, we discussed that under old business.
Okay, we'll
I
discuss
think
it
that would be
under
a
old
good
business.
idea.
Thank you.
Okay?
Okay.
Wherever on MacArthur Boulevard they want to do it, again. That's what we said, right, MacArthur? What?
Okay. I know we do have a representative here from Economic Development. Chuck Westcott is going to give us his quarterly
Straight when we
update
write
on
the
what
ordinance.
Economic Development has been doing.
Council President, Council, thank you for the opportunity to speak. Representing Economic Development Advisory Commission, we were charged earlier this year with seeking a suitable marketing firm to represent Summers Point. It's been several years since we've had an active firm working on behalf of the city. Beginning of the year, we helped develop a request for proposal with our city administrator. Proposal was posted, five bidders submitted quotations. Once we received the quotes, our co-chair, Charlie Habercorn, provided a side-by-side summarization of the key elements. All of the respondents met the criteria of the RFP. It's interesting to note that a marketing RFP is not like an RFP on a piece of equipment or a truck or some other utilitarian item. It's much more conceptual in nature, so there's a lot of variance between what they provide, what the costs would be. At the EDAC monthly meeting in March, it was decided, after review of the 5 proposals, it was decided that a subcommittee be formed so that we could do a bit of a deep dive and analyze it. Having 5 proposals to go over and a dozen people to discuss could be a protracted event. The subcommittee was myself, Jenny Nelson, and Rob Hopkins. We met and did a full review in detail. The 5 bidders were reduced to 3. We opted to go back to the bidders with 2 questions to try and focus the proposal. It's also important to note that we did not provide any budget in the RFP, so it was basically wide open. All 3 bidders, as a matter of fact, all 5 bidders significantly exceeded our annual budget. So we obviously had some work to do. The 2 questions were, The proposed monthly cost exceeded our budget. So how are you willing to be flexible in developing a program that meets our budgets and needs? And all three provided either written or verbal responses that said they were completely willing to work within our budget limitations. It would just be a matter of picking and choosing what elements of their plan they wanted to incorporate. The second question was, what methods would you recommend to address the varied market, demographics, geographics that we're attempting to target? And all of them provided a great deal of detail in their responses. A large portion of it is social media because of the cost. It's much less expensive. Some of the recommendations were geofencing and some of the other higher tech items that are quite expensive and would really exhaust our budget far too quickly. So while the proposals differed in approach, the hourly rate to perform work was very competitive. The three bidders were virtually identical in terms of their cost on an hourly basis. So at our April EDAC meeting, both the subcommittee and the full commission agreed that a local firm was best equipped to meet the needs of Summers Point. Two firms in particular had local knowledge and a local presence. One has prior experience working with Summers Point for both marketing and publicity. The other stood out because of the success the firm has achieved with the Atlantic County Economic Alliance. And I've been privy to some of the data that they've provided to ACEA and the success in their website development and their marketing efforts. Fully realizing the scope of the work originally intended by the RFP was threefold. The first was to stabilize those businesses in Summers Point. Second was to assist new business in their transition into Summers Point. And third was to attract new businesses to Summers Point that meets the needs of the residents and tourists alike. One of the items we have discussed would be a campaign to attract out-of-area businesses to potentially establish a second location in Summers Point. So that really is economic development on a grand scale, bringing business into town. The other was target specific needs or voids in our area. One example is the property that we've been trying to develop into a hotel site. So we would be involved in that. So it's our recommendation that with the approval of City Council, that we move forward with the selection of a suitable marketing firm to begin work developing a plan that can be executed starting June 1st. That's an aggressive timeline for an administrative body, but we're hoping we can do it. So the initial proposed focus and goal would be build a marketing plan for our season, which we consider June to September. Begin routine internal work using existing resources to market to the city and the surrounding area residents. Website, calendar updates, Facebook updates, the rest of social media. Work in conjunction with the Summers Point Business Association to stabilize businesses in town and help those transitioning in. Prepare to move forward in late fall with the second business location initiative for existing businesses that could find Summers Point a potential place to stay. Metrics for the success of the program would be put in place, so we will measure the outcomes. Attendance of the marketing firm at each EDAC monthly meeting, weekly updates provided by the marketing firm to EDAC, so we understand what they're doing and what they're accomplishing. The committee structure would be regular meetings held at least bi-weekly initially through the summer season, and then at least monthly thereafter. We would have options for subcommittees for either specific tasks or specific events if we have something coming up. Attendance at each meeting would include representatives from selected vendor, the city council, EDAC, city administration, and city marketing personnel or the selected designees. And we would review metrics and goals at each and every meeting, so we make sure we're on track. Updates would then be provided to city council and city administration at least monthly, in addition to what we have planned to do, which is present to city council quarterly. I want to thank City Council for the opportunity to work on this project. We would like your support in moving forward and awarding the contract to one of the firms that we have recommended. And those two firms are Suasion and Performance Marketing. Thank you. Any questions?
So you're asking us you're going to select one of those, or you want us to select one of those?
We don't have the authority to select one.
Okay, so your recommendation is either one of those?
Yes, we're trying to keep it open. We're giving you the option of one of two. Both of them are local.
Yeah.
We feel both of them have the knowledge of the area. They're familiar with Summers Point.
Right.
They're both fully capable.
So, and I guess it's up to Madam President, but you'll send us a copy of each of those proposals?
Yes, I think you already have them because they were returned to the city. But I can put together not only their proposals, but their secondary responses. Essentially, all of them said, oh, we're over budget. Well, tell us what your budget is, and we'll tell you what it is that we can do for that. And the discussion was really focused around, is there a minimum spend to be effective? In other words, if our budget was so small that hiring one of these firms would, I don't want to say it's a waste, but if we really couldn't generate enough movement, we would have to come back and say we either need more budget or we have to go a different direction.
So, but based on the budget you've given them and them coming back with a revised scope of work,
Right,
you feel that that would be an effective use of that money?
I do. We feel that at this point, it's not like because we haven't been doing anything, we should do anything. We want to be very specific and deliberate about what it is that we want to accomplish. We're going to lay out what our goals are. They're going to say, from a professional standpoint, this is what we recommend we do.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
Yes. Are either of these firms woman-owned?
Suasion is woman-owned,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. All right.
So I guess we'll just get both of those packets
Yeah,
to everybody. They can
sure.
review it, and do we have to do,
We'd like to have this approved by the end of this month.
yeah,
You want to award a contract
Right.
next council meeting.
So I think you could, unfortunately, you don't have all the material, so you really can't discuss it here at this time, I would think. I mean, you can make a decision now, straw vote, and
well, without everybody having the information, I mean,
I'm just trying to think how to do this without violating the sunshine law. You could come in and, we could prepare two resolutions, and you just choose at that time.
what do you mean, one for?
Resolution,
Right. Oh, I see. Okay, why don't we do that? Because then we can discuss it beforehand and then withdraw one and, okay.
How much is the contract amount? Well, each of these contracts, the initial proposals were around $3,000 a month. And again, we didn't provide specific details, but all three responded saying basically, we'll work with your budget. If your budget is X a month, their hourly rate divided by, or the total divided by their hourly rate was what you could get. And what we're trying to do is be very efficient with the limited budget, which is why we're really hoping to be able to rely on one of the city employees who is charged with some marketing responsibilities. And that's something we have to discuss a little bit further with the city administrator and figure out what of the tasks can that person take on in order to give our budget a little longer legs.
Understood.
Yeah, I don't want to pay somebody $150 an hour to do website updates. That's not a good use of funds.
No.
Or Facebook updates. Yeah,
Hire me then.
Okay, you'll just get everything to
yeah,
Jason and then we'll,
we'll narrow it down to the two and then submit everything to Jason, okay?
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
Good.
Okay. Could I have a motion to approve the minutes from the regular meeting, April 27th, 2023?
So moved?
Second?
Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting minutes are approved. Ordinance number 10.
Ordinance number 10 of 2023, an ordinance amending the Summers Point Municipal Code, Chapter 114, Development Regulations, Article 7, GB, General Business District, Article 8, HC-1, Highway Commercial 1 District, Article 9, HC-2, Highway Commercial 2 District, and Article 12, TC Transient Commercial District relative to requirements of off-street parking for restaurants.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved. Second.
Any comments?
Could I just make a comment, Madam President?
I think so, sure.
Thank you. This is supported both by EDAC and the Business Association. You should have at least, I think EDAC's in your packet, and I believe we got last week
They should both be there, yeah.
the support of the Business Association, just so that everyone's aware that there is a, and the recommendation, of course, by our engineer.
Yes. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? This is the first reading, so, ordinance number 11, please.
Ordinance number 11 of 2023, an ordinance amending the Summers Point Municipal Code, Chapter 75, alcoholic beverages, Article 1, licensing provisions, Section 75-5, number of licenses per applicant.
May I have a motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and this is also the first reading. May I have a motion to open for public comment on resolutions only, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're now open for public comment on resolutions only.
Patricia Pearson, 587 Marks Road, Summers Point. This ordinance number 11, can somebody tell me how many licenses how's it going to shake out?
We're,
Be for public session at the end.
yeah, we're open, this is for resolutions.
We're in resolution.
Say it again.
That's an ordinance that we already went over. You can discuss that at public session at the end.
Ask the same question again?
Yeah, yes,
Right now,
At
we're
public,
gonna
okay. Ask the same question. Gotcha. Thank you.
thank you.
Yes, good evening, John Helbig, 106 East Dawes Avenue. I guess I just had a question perhaps for Jason. On Resolution 104, 2023, regarding the DeFeo Lane solar project, I assume that's what that's about?
No,
Oh, it's not? Okay. What property is that, Block 525?
it's a new project that's we're just starting to discuss, so it's very, very beginning stages. We're going to go into executive session to discuss that.
Okay, thank you.
It's the same
It's-
property.
It's the same, it's right next to where the solar is, so.
Okay, thanks.
Motion to close the public portion on the resolutions.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're now closed for public comment. Resolution number 98.
Resolution number 98 of 2023, taxes canceled and refunded, Block 2043, Lot 4, qualifier C0042.
May I have a motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 98 is adopted. Number 99.
Resolution number 99 of 2023, authorizing estimated tax billing.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 99 is adopted. Number 100.
Resolution number 100 of 2023, tax overpayment refund, Block 723, Lot 24.
May I have a motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 100 is adopted. Resolution number 101.
Resolution number 101 of 2023, requesting cancellation of grant for FEMA fiscal year 2018 PDM Exton Road Pump Station.
May I have a motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 101 is approved. Resolution number 102.
Resolution number 102 of 2023, resolution authorizing entry of participation agreements and partial settlement of the national prescription opioid litigation.
May I have a motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 102 is approved. Resolution number 103.
Resolution number 103 of 2023, a resolution authorizing the implementation of fees for the use of the boat ramps located at the Route 52 Bridge and John F. Kennedy Park.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Any comments?
Madam President?
Yes.
The only comment I have on the boat fees here is that I think that moving forward, this is for next year, that Summers Point residents are given a break on these types of fees, that there's some sort of discount process put in place, that if you're a Summers Point resident and you're going to put your boat in the water, you should get a bit of a break. Since they're a resident, they pay taxes, and I think it'd be only a good thing to do for our residents moving forward.
Madam President,
Yes.
that's a admirable idea, and I agree with the concept. In the past, and this is going to be difficult, in the past, we've offered a discount on the boat ramp fees to senior citizens and to veterans. And I'll lean on Mr. Frost to back me up if I say something wrong here. The new boat ramp devices, we're not able to do that.
I understand that.
We're only able to set one rate at this point. Now, who knows how that technology will progress even over the next year. That seems like something that would naturally come, so hopefully we were able to do that in the future.
Right.
Make that adjustment.
We did discuss it with the company, but at this point, they can't do that. So we did pick the lowest rates that there was before. We didn't raise anything. We just kept it to the lowest one with the discounts for
Understood.
this year, so.
I would just point out that there's some constitutional issues with that, so if we ever get to that point next year, we can have that discussion.
Okay, I hope so.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 103 is approved.
I think you have to table.
Right,
104
we're gonna
at this
table.
point.
Right. Do I need a motion to, okay, a motion to table resolution number 104.
I'll make that motion.
In all due respect, it's not, she's just going to shuffle the order.
No, there actually needs to be some corrections made to the resolution, so we need to table it for tonight. So we won't be
Oh,
acting
I
on it.
misunderstood, okay.
We'll still be going into executive
We'll just
session.
discuss it and act on it at a different date.
Correct, yes.
I'll make the motion to table.
Me too.
I
Or
agree.
second, I'm sorry.
You too? Okay.
I beg for forgiveness. I
No.
put my nose
That's okay.
yesterday. I didn't.
Either one of us
It
is
just
fine.
happened in 5 minutes.
No, that's fine. All right.
You can still sit.
I don't want to be called rude or anything
No.
by Pat or anybody.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, resolution number 104 is tabled. Number 105.
Resolution number 105 of 2023, authorizing executive session, matters requiring advice of counsel, any pending or anticipated litigation or contract negotiation in which the public body is or may become a party, any matters falling within the attorney-client privilege to the extent that confidentiality is required for the attorney to exercise his ethical duties as a lawyer, the nature of the matters to be discussed, described as fully as possible while undermining the need for confidentiality, advice of counsel and attorney-client communication regarding the status of legal and procedural issues pertaining to a plan for development of properties located at 49 DeFeo Lane, Block 525, lots 2.01, including the provision of affordable housing obligations in compliance with Summers Point Municipal Code, Chapter 69 and 114-86.1.g, a 2008 court-approved settlement agreement the April 26, 2018 court-approved settlement agreement between the city and Fair Share Housing Center and the city's Housing Element Fair Share Plan.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved. Second.
Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 105 is approved, and we'll go into executive session after we're finished all of our other business in the interest of everyone's time. Resolution number 106.
Resolution number 106 of 2023, authorizing executive session, advice of counsel regarding the status of negotiations between the city and the Teamsters, any pending or anticipated litigation or contract negotiation in which the public body is or may become a party, any matters falling within attorney-client privilege to the extent that confidentiality is required for the attorney to exercise his ethical duties as a lawyer, the nature of the matters to be discussed, described as fully as possible without undermining the need for confidentiality, is advice of counsel and attorney-client communication regarding the status of negotiations between the city and the Teamsters Union Local Number 115 contract.
May I have a motion, please?
I'll make that motion. Second.
Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 106 is approved, and again, we'll go into executive after we're done the rest of the city business. Resolution number 107.
Resolution number 107 of 2023, awarding bid for the Cedar Avenue Sanitary Sewer Extension, Contract 16.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved. Second.
Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 107 is approved. Okay, thank you. We'll go into old business. We'll have our cannabis discussion. Is that list in here, in our packet here? So, isn't there a copy of that in here?
Emailed it to everyone. I don't know whether you saw it.
Yeah, I emailed it too.
Yeah, everyone did receive it in an email, but we can discuss it now.
Okay. You just heard Councilman DePamplis. We're up at item number 1, amount, size, type. We'd already talked about the standard vice versus the micro business. And the committee revisited the issue as the number, and they would like to propose 1 retail, one distribution center, and
Speak into the microphone, please, we can't hear you back here.
and a standard versus a micro business. So I need some input from council. Where are we going with this? Are we proceeding with 1 and 1? Because the next step, I'll just go back, this next step is for us to do 2 things. One is actually we have to start to draft an interview process with the criteria as to what we want from each and every one of the applicants that may come forward. And then we have to also sit down with the planning board and their representatives and have a meeting with them as to what they would like to do. We need to amend the master plan, and we need to then, with some input with Mr. Helbig again, we're going to, if we get that far, we're going to create an overlay into at least one of the districts, maybe 2 of the districts. So that's the recommendation, is 1 and 1. And,
So is that the first thing we need to
well, sure.
have a
You
kind of
ought
a
to-
straw vote on? And
Well-
if
Well, the question
everyone's-
is, do you even want it?
Let's
Right.
talk about that.
Okay.
I assume we're at the point where most of the people here on council are going to vote for it.
Well, let me interrupt you for a second, Counselor. I don't think that going just one-on-one is a good business move for the city. And the reason I say that is, if we're allowed to have the opportunity for 5, that doesn't mean we have to put 5 in, but that does mean that over a period of time, if the need arises, we can implement another store if it makes sense. At the same time, I think that by limiting it, we actually put one person or one company in charge of the whole city, and there's no competition for that individual if we only have one store. So my thought was that, and I'd like to get your guidance on this, could we approve the fact that we're going to look at 5, but implement 1 now, maybe 1 next year if we need it, and have an opportunity to bring them on as we want them? We don't have to implement all 5 at one time, but I think if the opportunity is there to grab it, because the state may change the laws and put us in a position where we can't add any more.
That wasn't my intention.
I understand, but
I
that was my
said
intention.
start off with 1 and 1.
Right.
This is new to us, you know, we don't know exactly what we're
I
getting ourselves
agree.
into. We need to take it slow a little bit.
Well, I'm agreeing with you in terms of taking it slow. I'm just saying that,
Well, the number 5 is determined by the state, correct?
Well, that's my understanding, yeah, that we have,
So,
we're
but
capped at 5.
I'm not saying we can never add any, I'm just saying let's start off with 1 and 1.
If we say we're going to do 5, then, and somebody comes to us and wants to do it,
I
and,
think we have to issue them, Council.
right, we
We
would have
do.
to issue
Yeah.
them,
So
so
you're gonna end up with 5.
one at a time, do
okay.
1, and make sure it's,
I suspect that we would know about any type of legislation that would be
discussed.
put forward to limit or curtail the amount of licenses well in advance that we could actually act on it and approve a license for that. We only need 2 meetings.
okay. I just don't want to see it.
I understand.
I don't want to tie our hands, that's all.
Yep,
You know.
Understand.
Good point.
I agree, Joe, I
That's a
agree.
good point, yeah. Mr. Allen?
I think we should just go with 1 and 1 for right now.
Mr. McGuigan?
Thank you. And I just would like to ask a question relative to the recommendation that the committee just put forth. And that in there you said you recommend on Route 9 and on Route 52, correct?
Correct.
How did the committee decide on those 2 areas only? And we
Wait,
have other
go ahead, John.
business corridors and so forth that you seem to have left out.
I think I misspoke when I said MacArthur Boulevard, I'm sorry about that.
That's all right.
Karen corrected me. Go ahead, Karen, correct me again.
We had discussed putting the one, like Summers Point, Mays Landing Road, or near Peter Lumber, like in that area.
Okay, so we're staying off of 52, and we're going to go to the area around the lumber yard or the Summers Point, Mays Landing Road.
What about
And
Route 9?
Route 9, no, Route 9.
Right.
I like
So you have
52, but he
the
doesn't.
3 different
like
areas,
52.
okay. So I just want to go back to what Mr. McCary says, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Smith, Summers Point's 4 square miles. Why would we ever need 5 retail places? I'm going to go on the record now, I don't want any of it.
From why we have 20-some liquor licenses in this.
Well,
Or 3 Wawa.
that's a good point. And, you know, and as this is discussed and people, you know, and it's become a hot topic, and people always bring up to me, oh, you got all those liquor licenses. Well, I wasn't a councilman when we got all those liquor licenses. I enjoy all those liquor licenses, don't get me wrong. And I don't, you know, we're not rolling back liquor, we just can't, that's not in our purview, okay? Adding marijuana to the mix in a business setting is not for Summers Point, and it's not for me, so.
Okay,
I'm a no.
thank you.
Thank you.
And
Mr. Dill?
As I spoke before, I have concerns about the revenue. I don't know whether, you know, for me to vote yes, okay, without knowing real projected revenues and things of that nature, my concern that I expressed earlier about the state potentially limiting or taking away that revenue, because we all know that the state is after every penny that they can get to support themselves. And you know, I guess an answer, a question to the solicitor, at some point in time, if I vote yes on this, at some point in time, I can still vote no for the institution of the retail and,
This is just a straw vote.
This is just a straw.
This is just a straw
I think
vote.
we're still on item number 1. are we
Right.
not?
Right.
Yeah.
One
We'll
and
discuss
one.
the location in a minute, but, I understand your concern. We went over
Right.
this. At any point, this council can change its mind and tell me to quit doing any work on this.
Right.
I second that motion.
I can't make
Okay.
a motion.
At this point, because of my concerns about the revenue and also about the location, I think if we're going to do Route 9, I think we should do all of Route 9, okay? From the lumberyard area all the way through to the other end of Route 9. I don't think we should pick and choose, because if we're going to go to MacArthur Boulevard on Route 9, anything from MacArthur Road and Route 9 is golf course and residential, so I just don't see the point of
What happened?
picking out particular areas.
We're on,
Just what we need to decide, one and one is,
and I'll just tell everyone this, because we haven't visited with the planning board. I mean, this is just to get a general consensus, so when we go to the planning board, I don't sit down and say, I don't know where anyone wants to put it, and then they come up with a thing, and then I come back here and everyone says, oh, no. But
So one question at a
We're going to go
time.
visit the planning board's reps, we're going to have a sit down, and we're going to discuss with them their thoughts and processes on this. All right, so the question, at this point, assuming that you're always able to change your vote, would you go with 1 and 1 at this time?
Oh, I would definitely go one-on-one.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't want any more than one-on-one.
right, okay.
Right. And that's what we're talking about at this point?
Right.
Oh, well, okay.
We'll do the location on.
And then we'll
we
talk
already
about
heard you
that.
on the location, so we got that down. So we already heard Councilman Bruno and.
Well,
and-
let her, she has
on
something.
No,
the location.
no, I-
We heard on you on the 1 and 1.
Okay.
And the distribution center and the location of that is to bring jobs to the community, to people, that, jobs to that area. And the other part of it is that people, am I too close again?
Yeah.
People who are, who have prescriptions for cannabis can't get it in this area. And I want to assure that they can.
How many do you want?
One.
Do what? The one-on-one, yeah.
Okay, there we
But I
go.
think that's an
There we go.
important part in having
All
it.
right,
I think we don't need to hear.
We already know.
Do we, Councilman?
Nope.
Thank you.
okay. And how about me? How about
Just
me?
the location.
How about me?
Oh, I'm sorry. I already thought we knew what you were going to say. I'm sorry.
I'm good with 1 and 1, yes.
Yes.
For the record. The location, on Route 9, Bethel to New Jersey. It appears that, I'm not sure I heard anyone recommending MacArthur Boulevard tonight. And there was a suggestion of putting something on either Mays Landing, if I got it correctly, between Route 9 and the Parkway, and also off possibly Chestnut, which is a little bit of an industrial warehouse area for us. So if you want to, that's where we're at. Does anyone want to discuss that?
You said all of Route 9, right?
From Bethel south,
To Chestnut, and
yeah.
All of Route 9?
Right past that school that's on Route 9?
it would not be within 200 feet of
Well, I
us.
haven't
nobody
gotten
said that.
there on that.
That's a
remember,
stat
just-
state.
Just a general,
Yeah.
just trying to move this along.
Because
Councilman DePangelis wants me to move this along, he told me.
I guess my question is, when we're talking about all of Route 9, there are some locations at Route 9 and Summers Point Mays Landing Road. Would those properties also be included in this?
Well, they could be, yeah.
Yeah, they could be.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying, okay. All right, at this point, that's fine, because we still have to go to the planning board and everything, so,
Okay.
okay. I'm good with all of Route 9, depending on obviously, the restrictions as far as schools and things of
Right.
that nature are concerned.
Right.
And the only issue on that relative location, this goes back to the proximity of operations. And what the committee had suggested, whether there be no limitation on any other type of business operation, the only one that would be addressed would be the 200-foot requirement that the state imposes. You can't have a sign within 200 feet, and so we took that as a recommendation and moved it to, couldn't have a retail or distribution center within 200 feet of school property. And I don't know if anyone wants to add anything, anyone has any concerns?
And that's the property line, right? Not
Yep.
the school
Yep.
itself. It's actually the property line? Yeah, okay. I'm okay with that.
200 feet's nothing. I mean, 200 feet is nothing. I mean, I have 200 feet from Marine.
Does that actually reach Route 9 from Jordan Road?
It's from the property line, not the building.
It's,
Not the building.
I mean, more than, that's certainly less than 200 feet. It's certainly more than 200 feet from Jordan Road up to, how many?
Well, I was sorry, it's more the charter
one.
school
Yeah.
is on Route 9. That's the
Yeah,
one.
charter school, I mean, quite frankly, do you really see the bank moving? Do you see that type of redevelopment? I don't even think it's, well, who knows what could still happen over there towards McDonald's, but that McDonald's probably isn't going anywhere. And that, so what's that, 100 foot, 150 foot across that lot? Maybe 175. So there, boom, you know. Anyone have anything else? Okay. Restrictions on operation was suggested 10 to 10.
So since we've started talking about this, every town that I go to that I see one, I try and ask as many questions as I can, and most of them are not open past like 6 o'clock. I would prefer that they're not open at night. I mean, I don't know if that makes a difference, but I don't.
This is just
Yeah.
trying to get some guidance.
My personal opinion is we'd probably split the baby. The president
Yeah.
was 6 o'clock, and the recommendation was 10. I think 8 PM would be a good time. That way you don't have people, if there's a sense of hanging out in that area, they wouldn't be hanging out at 10, 11 o'clock at night. So my opinion is 8 o'clock.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we have a start?
No
Yeah.
problem there.
Just an end time?
Makes sense.
Was it 9 o'clock start? What time was the
Nine-
start?
10 to 8.
10 was what was recommended.
10 to 8 is good.
10 to
10 to
8.
8?
Yep,
Okay.
we're good.
I can lump this all together and discuss it that way if everyone wants to move this along, or do you want me to go through each and every one of those items at the back?
Move it along.
Could I just jump back one? The 200 feet from the school,
Yes.
what about athletic fields or playgrounds? Is that
Well-
dovetailed into that, or?
We don't have any on Route 9.
We
We have-
could, that's included in the proximity to other operations, and
Okay.
there was, the committee had no concern. I mean, if it's on Route 9, you gotta remember where we're making the recommendation for. What playgrounds do you have on Route 9? What public parks do you have on Route 9? None. No libraries. I don't think we have a public building that I can recall, maybe. So, I mean, it was felt that 200 feet from the school property was, takes it away from the charter tech, keeps it away from Jordan Road, and that's, I mean, so there you go. Anything else?
Nah, that's all I got right now.
I'm just gonna go through
Thank you.
this.
Yeah.
Go
I
ahead.
threw it fast last time. Business with own delivery service operations, we were going to allow. Signage as allowed under the current ordinances. Drive-throughs, yes. Hours were gonna be the same as the business. Capacity is allowed by ordinance. Outdoor congregating, we were going to work on how to limit that. Requirement on site of security, right now, just roughly, we are recommending 2. May be that we may need to do something different there. Parking requirements is allowed by ordinance, and waste disposal minimum 1 week. Does anyone have any comments on this?
I would just like it to be very, like, no congregating out
Yeah.
in or around the building.
I mean, one of the issues which we discussed was the fact that you could have in an industrial park, you could have a line. We're trying not to do that. We don't want outdoor lines on Route 9.
Right.
So we will work on that. The application process, I went over, explained all that. I don't think we need anything on an approval on that today. And taxes/revenue, which we went over. It was 2% for retail, 1% for distributors, and that was a recommendation. As I hear something to the contrary, I think we're just going to keep that. That's the maximum allowed by law.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
That's it.
Okay,
Thank
I have a question,
Okay.
or a concern.
Okay.
Okay, when we talk about delivery and drive-through, okay, there has to be an age limitation associated with being able to buy
The
it,
state,
21.
21, okay? Now, if you do a delivery, how's that reassured that, the person that's actually buying it is 21, or it's being bought for another purpose for minors and things of that nature? I really, and a drive-through, I guess you can check the ID and things of that nature, but a delivery, I'm concerned with delivery.
Let's just go back to what the law is. We cannot preclude that distribution center out in the EHT from delivering here in Summers Point at the present time at all.
it's already being delivered here, yeah.
I'm sorry?
My understanding is you still have to do the whole process with your ID and,
Yeah, I don't know, I don't know this. This is something which when we start putting this together with our RFPs, so to speak, is how we're going to do this ultimately is that's what you're going to ask them what the operations are. I mean, I have yet to be at a facility, so I'm not sure how they do it. And I've not ordered online yet, so I don't know either.
Right.
But it's 21.
Right.
I suspect that this is no difference if you're ordering beer from one of the places here in town that delivers, that mom can order whatever she wants and give it to the kids. Who are
Okay. All right.
Under 21 but over 18.
I never thought about the distribution of beer and alcohol, so it's sort of basically
Yeah.
the same thing. Okay, all right.
Okay.
Are we allowed, or do we have the ability to license that delivery service?
No, it goes with the retail, but you can have a separate license. There's a separate license. Remember, I went through the categories?
Yes.
I think it's category 7 is the retail, excuse me, is the licensing. I don't think you're going to see that many of operations around here, at least, of just people who are running an independent license for delivery.
Right.
I think what you're going to see is the retail stores are going to be delivering.
And
Why
that's
wouldn't
covered
they have
within their
fines?
license?
I'm sorry, what?
Is that is covered within their license?
Yes, it is.
That delivery,
Yes,
so,
it
so EHT's, whatever that's called out there, has a license to deliver in Summers
I don't
Point?
know. Well,
I believe
don't know if
it's-
they have it. I don't even know if they deliver. They've got a retail license and they've got I don't know if they've got a distribution or a different license. I've never.
Well, there's a grow facility out there, too.
yeah, the
It's a grow facility as well out there.
So we can't stop. You want to call a place in Hackensack and ask them to deliver you a bag of gummies, and they're willing to do it. We can't stop them from driving into Summers Point.
Well, and again, referencing alcohol, Ocean City is a dry town, but
Right.
they have alcohol deliveries all the time.
right.
And they can't stop that, so therefore, I'm sure we can't stop someone else from delivering items to Summers
The
Point.
law is clear that it's allowed, so you just can't say no deliveries in Summers Point.
Right.
You cannot stop that.
Okay.
So but we would benefit from them delivering wherever. From
Sale.
here, we get the 2% off on that sale. So that's
Not
why
at the beer.
it's already being
Beer
here.
sales in Ocean City.
Right.
Sales consummated here in Summers Point.
Right.
Right,
Yep. Okay.
okay. So we're,
Does anyone else have anything?
I do want to just say one thing. I actually agree with Mr. McGuigan that I really don't want it here, but I have to look at the fact that, my personal opinion, I didn't vote to legalize cannabis. Over 70% of Summers Point voters did. We also, EDAC put out a survey, although it didn't get a good amount of response, it was still around 70% of people that did want a store in Summers Point. the fact that it's already delivered here, I feel like it's already here. I feel like the issues or any problems that we're going to have are already here because cannabis is here. So I feel like we should benefit from that 2% tax. We're going to have to deal with the issues anyway, so that's why I'm voting yes to move forward with this. So I just want everybody to know my personal opinion. I don't use cannabis. Luckily, I don't need it medically. I'm lucky that way, but it's here, and I think we have to have some type of benefit from it.
I agree with everything you just got done saying.
Madam President?
Yes.
I'd like to also put my viewpoint, I'm not really for it, but my concern was that with fentanyl coming across the border at will and it being put into every single drug and pill, if someone wants to smoke marijuana, I do not want them to risk dying because we didn't do something to provide them with something that didn't have a drug associated like fentanyl. That's my biggest concern. And I don't see anything happening at the border to stop what's going on there. So that's one of the reasons why I'm in favor of providing someone with this and making sure that it's, let's say, clean as opposed to what's happening.
Just a procedural question.
All I can say is I definitely agree with what you said, Joe. It's important that people have access to something that's not
Right.
laced with fentanyl or something of that nature, because I know we have situations here in town, plus all over the country, where we have fentanyl issues, and it's, you know, it gives somebody an opportunity, if you want to smoke marijuana and you have a desire to do that or some form of that, you should be able to go someplace where you can feel safe in purchasing it.
Okay, I agree. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Smith, procedural here, you talk about modifying the master plan.
Yes.
So the master plan would have to be modified prior to introducing an ordinance?
Yes.
Okay. And to modify the master plan,
That goes to the planning board.
planning board.
Correct.
Planning board has to develop that, have hearings and so forth. And then we would have to adopt that as through an ordinance, correct?
Correct.
So conservatively, we're several months away,
How many months?
several.
Conservatively, I don't
Okay.
know.
All right.
I-
I'm just
I had
laying it out that there's quite a process here.
I had projected out a process at some point. and-
Okay.
and Depends on how we attack it and what we go over. So now we need to, we need to bring in and the representatives of the planning board, start to go over that with them, see what their thoughts are. They may come back and have a total disagreement with everybody here as to where they want it. And then, which would mean I come back to council again and say, we have an issue here.
So that should be our next step to meet. Who meets with the planning board, the committee?
The committee,
Okay.
I, and would be with their legal counsel and whomever they want to pull into as a committee.
Okay, and,
And Mr.
Uh,
I don't want to forget
Mr.
Helbig.
Mr.
Right.
Mr.
You're on this boat.
Mr. Smith,
Yes, sir.
I sit on the planning board. Would it be a conflict of interest for me to be a member of that committee? Because I'm not a member of this committee?
Yes.
I'd still be.
Well, it's not a conflict of interest, it's a now violation of
Sunshine law.
sunshine law. We have 4 as opposed to 3.
No, I'm talking about I'm talking about when the planning board
oh, I see.
issues a
Right,
committee.
that's a good point.
Can I serve on that committee, or am I not able to because of my interest on council?
We're going to be meeting with that committee, so I'm saying that then you would show up. I'd have 2 here, Mr. McCary, now I'd have
I'd be a fourth.
Mr.
So what
Dillon.
you're saying is I should not serve on that committee?
That is my recommendation.
That's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Huh?
Just simple.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I
everyone.
just want to make
Thank you.
sure, that's all.
I just felt like we needed to get this, keep moving forward. That's, I
We got a little things.
think this was very good. This was some progress. Thank you. everyone. Any other old business to discuss? Hearing none, we'll move on to new business. Is everyone okay with a social affair permit for Cornhole Craze on May 27th from 1 p.m. to 11:45 p.m. and May 28th from 4 p.m. to 11:45 p.m.? I assume all their paperwork is in order?
Yes.
Council President,
Yeah.
at this point, I'm going to have to recuse on this particular one,
Okay,
okay, for personal reasons.
okay. Everyone else okay with that? Yes.
Good.
Approved, thank you. Discussion of the bills, Mr. Frost?
Yes, we have a bill listing of $4,260,273.12.
Thank you. May I have a motion to open for public comment, please?
I'll make
So
that
moved.
motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're now open for public comment. If you wish to speak, please step forward, state your name and address for the record.
Protesto, 108 Woodland Avenue, Summers Point. Yeah, I really think you're opening up Pandora's box here with even one dispenser. What is a straw vote anyway? Is this official or?
Just to move forward. No, it's not, no
Okay,
official
that's a
vote.
relief.
With discussion. Just
Yeah.
move forward with discussion.
Okay, yeah, thanks. And, geez, this is just so much. I mean, first of all, I'll just stick with what I was going to. Like in 2020, New Jersey voted to legalize marijuana. That's all we did. 70%, 68, 67, whatever the percentage was. They voted to legalize it. So we all have friends that smoke marijuana. Okay, you don't smoke, I don't smoke. A lot of people don't smoke here, but we all know people who smoke. But none of us want anyone to go to jail because they have a couple of joints in their pocket. Okay, so that's all that this was. You know, that's doesn't mean that we want a facility to open up in our city. So, you know, when I hear, someone say, "Oh, Ms. Bruno, we honor the voters. This is what the voters want." You're talking about Summers Point. And Mr. DePamphlis, considering the fact that Summers Point residents did vote for this. Okay. We really didn't. Okay, we didn't vote for these dispensers, my appeal is that you would please stop saying this because, the Summers Point voters did not vote for this. The real fact is that you want this, not the people of Summers Point. If you're referring to the poll, I pay my taxes online. I never saw this poll before until I went to the Republican Club. That's when I heard about this. So, my coworkers don't know about the poll. My wife didn't know about the poll. My neighbors didn't know about the poll. So you're using this poll like it has so much weight that we all want this, but we really don't. I don't think we do. Okay. So I do agree with Mr. Pamphlet. She said there will be no lounge in Summers Point. I'm in agreement with you. But you could use that same argument and say, well, we voted for a lounge in Summers Point. The people in Summers Point voted for a lounge. We took a poll. 70% of the people, they want a lounge. Okay, so a little consistent. Anyway, I made my point. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Thanks.
Mayor and Council, Rich Croft, Berlin, New Jersey. I have a little bit of experience. I'm opening up a dispensary in Atco, New Jersey, also a grow facility in Atco, New Jersey. I'm not sure the guidance to do a distribution center, because I don't know what you would distribute, because nobody's going to be growing here, and nobody's going to be manufacturing in Summers Point. So I'm not sure the point of a distribution license. I don't know what that's going to do. If it doesn't do any business, there's no tax revenue. I would think that maybe recommending 2 retail operations, one at each side of the town, would maximize the revenue. You had a economist here a couple months ago, talked about bringing in $1,000 a day, I believe, in tax revenue. So every day, as time goes on, you're not getting that $1,000. Egg Harbor Township is, Monroe Township, Washington Township, and so on and so on. They're reaping the benefits. There's nothing wrong with the industry as long as it's regulated correctly. I'm sure with all the concern on the board, it's going to be regulated properly. There's no concern with adding police. Every facility has their own armed guards, which I hire a service with, and he has a gun. So if there's any issues, they take care of it right there. There's also panic buttons, there's cameras. The CRC, gets to monitor your cameras 24/7. My hours of operation will be 8 to 8. The reason I chose that was 8 o'clock in the morning. If people have a medical problem, maybe they need to get something before they go to work. Of course, there'll be no lingering around. I do have a drive-through facility in Atco, so that'll make that easy. Also, pre-ordering on the website makes it very easy. Just like the Botanist in Monroe Township or Cureleaf. You can go right online, order it, you go right to the counter, you pay for it, and you leave. The whole system is very easy, very calculated, and it's simple. But it's new to you guys, so there's concerns. I don't indulge myself, so I don't smoke pot probably for 40 years. I went into the business because I thought it was a good opportunity to make a few dollars and hopefully retire sometime within the next 10 years. But, I know you guys have been struggling for a while. I'm glad to see that you're hopefully moving it forward. I think you should reconsider the distribution license because I don't know what it's really going to do for the town other than just saying we have a distribution license. Especially with, like I said, no manufacturers, no growers, what are they going to distribute? They're going to go to Winslow and grab product from Cureleaf and distribute it to a dispensary somewhere down in this area. I don't know. But anyway, thank you for listening, and hopefully you get to move things on.
Thank you.
Madam President, if I
Yes.
may ask Jim just.
Can we ask you a question,
Just a couple quick
sir?
questions since you are knowledgeable. So you stated earlier, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're opening a retail and a growery?
Mm-hmm.
So your business plan is going to be to grow and sell it in your retail? Is that it?
Yes,
Or
and-
are you going to sell out of the growery to other retail space?
Well, the grow facilities, it's what's called, it's going to be a micro. It's going to be less than 2,500 square feet. It's going to be specialized. It'll be a certain strain that it'll be proprietary to my facility. And if we grow more than we can sell, then we'll sell it to somebody.
But would that be your exclusive supplier?
No. Oh, no.
Okay, so you would get other brands or
Yes.
flavors or
absolutely.
whatever it
Yeah,
is?
you still have to have, you manufacture for edibles and different
So
things.
you then, that other supply comes from a distributor? Is that how that works? Or would you buy directly from a grower?
You buy directly from the manufacturer.
But a distributor is somewhat of like a wholesaler that,
Yeah.
okay,
Two different classes.
yeah.
Yeah, you have.
Wholesaler and a distributor.
Wholesaler is class 3, distribution is class 4.
Okay.
Right. I just think that the council should just look into that distribution license because I'm not sure it accomplishes maximizing revenue.
Yeah,
Thank you.
That was the only thing.
Okay.
thanks.
Thank you for
Oh,
that.
sure.
Mhm.
Good information.
Patricia Pearson, 587 Marks Road. I had a phone call tonight. Are you going to council? Yes. Would you please ask what's going on with the boat ramps and why they're not installed and what the problem is and why people the city isn't making money right now when the fishing season is on?
Mr. Frost, would you like to comment on that?
Sure. Precision Technologies, the company who's doing implementation, I will call with them tomorrow, and they'll be on site on Wednesday.
There've been several issues through the whole process of getting this
What
done.
was the problem? They said these boat ramps have been there for a long time and the city isn't doing any, that's what they told me.
The major issue was getting electric service to the sites.
Getting the electric service. So the electric service was the problem.
We started it last December, we got electric service in October.
In October?
Yeah, this past October.
Okay, and now, did you already miss Draper season and Flounder season or something? You don't know?
Flounder just started. He's been working on it diligently to get it done. We have to deal with a lot of different, the electric company, Comcast, and then also the Precision Technology, so it's been
All right, well, that was a question.
out of our control.
That was a question asked to me. All right, what about this liquor license? What, now is the public session. What are you gonna do with people? They can't have 1, 2, 3. What's the story?
The proposed ordinance is for 2 liquor licenses is the maximum you could hold.
The city's gonna make an ordinance that,
Currently, the ordinance reads, it would read as you can only hold 1. We're correcting that to say you can hold 2 liquor licenses.
okay, so what happens if they're grandfathered? They just stay grandfathered, or you knock it down?
That's a legal question, I can't answer that. I don't know about grandfather.
Who holds more than 2 liquor licenses?
No.
No, there's no one right now that holds more than 2 liquor licenses, so that would not be an issue.
Controls, that's not, I'm not against that, I just wanna know what it was.
Thank you.
Yeah, right. Now, here's the other thing with this cannabis. Whatever happened to a touch of class? Whatever happened to taking the high road? What happened here? Greed walked in, okay? Because we are trying to class up a little bit with the new buildings, or this or that. But here we go with this one. This is you don't have to do this cannabis. You want to do it for the money. It's not right for the general public. They're going to get it. Whoever wants it is going to get. Let them go to EHT and let them get the money. In the meantime, you get an efficiency expert in here and try to run this city a little better. You don't need cannabis. You don't need it. People aren't that sick. If they want it, they'll go get it. Take the high road. I'm so sick of this. Take the high road, please. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Thank you. No, please.
I know. I wanted to ask the guy something else I forgot to ask him, but go ahead, I'm sorry.
Hi, that's all right. Teresa Doherty, 26 Dogwood Drive. I just wanted to offer a counter to a couple of the comments made about cannabis. First of all, 70% of people did vote for it, and I think it's disingenuous to say that that doesn't mean that they wanted it here. And also, the survey may have not been well advertised, but I think that we all know the city website leaves a lot to be desired in general. So I think a lot of people miss stuff. So it could have been better advertised, absolutely, but I think there's a lot of things you don't get good feedback on. So I think it was pretty much on par with the kind of feedback you tend to get, maybe a little bit better, that survey. And I think that the results were consistent with the voting in this town. I also think when you say classing it up, it makes me laugh a little bit because we have so many bars and everything all over this town that, I mean, I don't know how you can say that that's classy. I mean, it's a bar town, and we're perfectly content with drunks. But I mean, I'd prefer the people that are smoking marijuana. They're a lot calmer and more chill than all the drunks that come stumbling out of the bars. So, just a counterpoint to a couple of the ones that were made, and I think you're on the right path. That regardless of what you do, I think you made a great point. Regardless of your personal opinions, you serve this community. And I think that the community has spoken that we're fine with this, and this is a good thing. We like that this is coming. So, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Maureen Helbig, 106 East Stalls. I really wasn't going to say anything about cannabis, but I just was wondering with this gentleman who has experience, I wonder if he could shed some light on the subject of when people come into these retail facilities, do they leave, get in their car, and go home? Because a lot of the concerns I've heard from the public and here is, well, we don't want riffraff hanging around. We have the police are going to have more, we're going to have more issues with the police having to respond, or the medical, ambulance or whatever, EMTs. So I just wondered if he might come back up and mention those issues. And the other thing is, at our meeting last time, there was a lady that got up and spoke about the senior center, and was saying that since COVID, why aren't more activities back for the people at the senior center, that things shut down, and that we really should have more activities available for seniors. So between that, and I think she mentioned a safety issue. There was a tree that's blocking the parking lot.
That's been addressed.
And I just wondered.
A lighting
That's
issue.
been addressed, yeah.
Okay, because nobody mentioned that, and maybe I thought that might have come up in one of your reports, so I didn't know that. So I'm glad to hear that something's being addressed for her,
Yes,
or the seniors. Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Chuck Westcott, 617 6th Street. On a lighter note, the Foundation for Education in Summers Point is sponsoring a celebration and recognition of teachers Thursday, the 25th at SOPO. We are also doing a 50/50 cash raffle. These are said cash raffle tickets. The money goes to the foundation, which provides support for programs, trips, and events that all benefit the kids directly. As you have all read, heard, some may know personally, budgets have been really difficult for the school district. Big takeaway, small give back. They're still working hard to try and make ends meet. The foundation provides a lot of very worthwhile benefits to teachers individually in the form of technology grants, to classrooms for specialty furniture for children with autism, changes in the environment, the annual Stokes trip for the 6th graders, various things like that, and they're all very beneficial. So in addition to celebrating the teachers, you can also help support the good work that the foundation does, which helps support the teachers. If you're interested, you can see me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Motion to close the public portion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're now closed for public comment. I guess we'll do payment of the bills. Could I have a motion to pay the bills, please?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Any further comments from the governing body before we go into executive session?
Madam President,
Yes.
if I'd be so bold, to just ask one question, I should have asked before. Is there, what you're going to sell medical marijuana and recreational marijuana? Is there a difference when I walk into the store and I have a prescription for marijuana, medical marijuana? Is it coming off a different shelf, or is it for any marijuana, or?
First of all, I didn't apply for a license for medical marijuana.
Okay.
The people that applied for medical marijuana were, years ago, 1, 2, 3 years ago, when that was the only game in town.
So with the legalization of marijuana, you could get whatever you
You can get whatever you
need.
want. The one savings, though, if you have a medical card, which I have a feeling people aren't going to keep those up, because I think it costs about $400 or $500, but they don't have to pay the sales tax. So that's a benefit, if they're in need. So we would honor that. I mean, we would have to then, discount. We're not going to charge a medical marijuana person the sales tax, because
Well, then those sales would be exempt from the
no,
marijuana tax.
we would discount it to 9%. We would take it out of our pocket, not going to short the state or the town. That's not fair. No.
Okay.
And just to answer the one question the young lady had over here, I don't have the study, I don't have the knowledge, but when people come for medical or recreational product, they're not allowed, they're like alcohol, they're not allowed to use it in their car. They're supposed to go home, they're supposed to either or go to a family member or somewhere safe. They're not allowed to use in public facilities. So, I mean, do they do it? Sure. But I think most people are, honoring, they know they still have to keep it private. I mean, we're not in, Copenhagen or
Right.
someplace like that where everybody's smoking in the parks, so.
Just one other thing, and in your presentation there, you're going to have armed guards.
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. We'll take a 5-minute recess and we'll go into executive session. I don't believe we're going to be taking any action after executive session, so you're welcome to stay around to hear us adjourn, but
My understanding of the distribution, that, you know, that we can put, we gotta get you in house. But anyway,